Imagine coming home happy because you just bought a new toy, just a small doll. Then, at night, you open your eyes and find the doll sitting on your chest, smiling. The story I'm about to tell you isn't from a horror movie. It actually happened to a girl named Meilin in Shanghai, and it ended in a tragic disaster. If you've ever felt that justice must be served, or if the thought of how the simplest things can become the most dangerous has ever scared you, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and get ready for one of the most chilling psychological horror stories you'll hear today. Shanghai, the city that never sleeps. Glowing skyscrapers, crowded streets, vendors shouting, car horns non-stop. But inside a small apartment on the 6th floor, there was an eerie silence. In the corner, a small brown dog wagged his tail on the couch. His name was Bao. To Meilin, he wasn't just a dog, he was family. Meilin came from a small village. After her father's sudden death, she took on the responsibility of supporting her mother and younger sister. She left her village and moved to Shanghai to build a better life for them. She was known for her gentle smile and kind heart. She worked in a toy store, something like a small paradise for her. Colors everywhere, children's laughter, dolls from all over the world. And Meilin had a strange little habit. She collected dolls, like they were tiny treasures. At her home, shelves were packed with rare dolls, Russian, Japanese, European. Each doll had a story behind it. But one day, something unusual arrived at the store. A large cardboard box. It read, "Limited edition LABUBU dolls." Everyone gathered around it. Customers grabbed every last one within minutes. But Meilin acted fast. She hid one for herself. Not just any doll, a golden one. Its color was dazzling, a strange, wide smile with sharp teeth, blue eyes that seemed to glow in the dark, shiny fur and long, rabbit-like ears. She held it like she'd found a piece of her heart. She laughed, took pictures of it from every angle, and even introduced it to Bao like it was a new family member. But that's when things started to get weird. Bao, who usually played with her dolls and wagged his tail happily, suddenly, when he saw LABUBU, he growled. His tail froze, his teeth bared, then he barked sharply, like he was facing a monster. Meilin laughed nervously and said, "Bao! What's wrong, baby? It's just a toy." She placed the doll on the shelf and went to bed. But Bao didn't sleep next to her that night, like he always did. His eyes were locked on the shelf. Then he ran out of the room. The next morning, things started to spiral. Bao wouldn't stop barking at the doll. At one point, he grabbed Meilin's jeans with his teeth and pulled her toward the shelf, as if trying to warn her. But she snapped. "Enough, Bao! Stop it!" She locked him in the bathroom and left for work. That day turned out to be the worst day of her life. The usually calm and smiling Meilin lost her temper. She shouted at a customer, got into an argument. Her manager screamed at her in front of everyone and fired her on the spot. She came home with red, tear-filled eyes. She opened the bathroom door. Bao ran to her, but something felt off, like something deep inside her was changing. That night, the real horror began. A laugh, a strange laugh. Not quite human, not quite childlike. Something in between. She looked up, and in the corner of the room, she saw a shadow. Her heart pounded. She got up, searched the corner, nothing. But on the floor was the Labubu doll, the one she was sure she had left on the shelf. She put it back, tried to sleep, but in her dream, the monster came. A rotting red body, long, sharp teeth, claws deeper than knives. It crept toward her, reached for her neck to strangle her, and laughed. Maylin screamed in her sleep and woke up in terror. What she saw nearly drove her insane. The doll was sitting on her chest, smiling. She screamed at the top of her lungs. Bao burst into the room. He leapt at the doll, tearing it apart with his teeth. Maylin was frozen with fear, but also she felt relief. She said, "It's over. It's finally over." She gathered the pieces and threw them in the trash. What she didn't know was that this was only the beginning. The night after what happened, Maylin barely slept, tossing and turning. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the same smile, the same long teeth, the same eyes that weren't human. When morning came, the first thing she did was glance at the shelf. The doll was gone. Maylin gasped. "How? I'm sure I threw it away." She rushed to the kitchen. The trash bin was empty. She froze, her mind racing. Am I imagining this? Is it all in my head? At that moment, Bao came running, barking furiously, as if to prove she wasn't crazy. But Maylin was drained, her features pale, dark circles under her eyes, her body trembling from lack of sleep. The day went by, but something strange happened. When Maylin tried to cook, the knife slipped from her hand, as though an invisible force had struck it. The faucet turned on by itself. The neon light in the kitchen flickered, like a trembling heartbeat. That night, she heard the same laughter, louder, closer. This time, it wasn't just a sound. It came out of her own chest, her own throat, without her control. Clutching her neck, she whispered to herself, "What's happening to me?" The next day, when she checked on Bao, she found the dog staring at the door, fur standing on end. When she turned her gaze in the same direction, the doll, LABUBU, sitting on the living room floor, smiling. Maylin staggered back a step and shouted, "Impossible! I saw Bao tear you apart with my own eyes. How are you here again?" The doll didn't move, but its smile widened, wider, until its teeth showed even more. Maylin gasped, grabbed it, and ran to the balcony. She struck a match, tossed the doll into a metal bucket, and lit the flames. The plastic gave off a choking stench. The doll laughed. The laughter rose from the fire itself. Mylan dropped to her knees, covering her ears. "Stop! Stop it already!" But the fire burned out. The doll was ash. She swept the ashes into a jar and threw it into the river beside her house. Standing there, watching it sink, she sighed of relief. It's over. It's finally over. That night, for the first time in weeks, Mylan slept deeply. But when she woke up, the real nightmare awaited. The kitchen was drenched in blood. The floor, the sink, even the cabinets above. And Bao? His body lay beneath the sink, torn apart. Limbs gnawed as if by some wild beast. Mylan collapsed, screaming, sobbing at the sight of her dearest friend gone. On the counter beside the sink, the doll. Labubu, its hands and teeth smeared in blood, its eyes glowing icy blue. Mylan's mind began to unravel. She rushed to her computer, frantically searching Labubu cursed doll. The results chilled her. People losing their jobs after bringing the doll home. People falling sick without explanation. Children dying in their sleep with the doll beside them. Photos of Labubu dolls smiling wider each day. One article read, "Some believe Labubu is the embodiment of the devil itself." Another said, "The doll is banned in several countries after repeated incidents." Tears streamed down her face as Mylan read, I brought this curse into my home." But worse, she heard a voice behind her, a childish voice. "Mylan, why did you burn me? Why are you trying to get rid of me?" She spun around. No one was there. But the doll had moved, its smile wider than ever. In that instant, Mylan broke. She bolted from the house, screaming Bao's name, as if expecting him to answer. Her neighbors peeked out, watching her with blank faces, but no one intervened. In Shanghai, people had learned never get involved. Night returned. When she came back, her home no longer felt like her own. The walls seemed narrower, the colors drained. The metallic stench of blood filled the air. She stepped into her bedroom. The doll was sitting on her bed, smiling, waiting. The whole room was cold, not the ordinary chill of winter. This cold sank into the bones, making her feel as if even her heart was frozen solid. Mylan stood before the bed. The doll sat there, smiling. Its blue eyes glowed faintly, as if it were breathing. Her inner voice screamed, "You need to get out now." But her legs refused to move, frozen. Suddenly, the doll turned its head, slowly, right, left, then stopped. A laugh escaped its mouth, not the plastic sound of a toy, but a real laugh, cruel, stripped of all humanity. Mylan collapsed to the floor, sobbing, "Leave me, please, I didn't do anything to you." A childish voice answered without the doll opening its mouth. "But you brought me here. You chose me. Now I'm yours." My Lynn tried to crawl away. Her hand hit a small picture frame, a photo of her and Bao the day she rescued him from the shelter. Tears poured harder. "He died because of you. You killed him." The doll suddenly fell off the bed, but not like a plastic toy. It landed on its hands and feet like a living creature. And it started to move. Step, laugh, step, laugh. My Lynn flung open the closet, slipped inside, and slammed the door shut. Her heart pounded so violently she thought her chest would burst. Through a small crack, she could see the room. The doll stood in the middle, silent. Seconds, minutes, time crawled. Then suddenly, the doll was gone. My Lynn gasped, "Impossible! Where did it go?" Then the voice came from inside the closet, behind her, right by her ear. "Hiding from me, my Lynn?" She screamed, burst out of the closet, and ran to the front door. But it wouldn't open. Not locked with a key, it was as if something was holding it shut from the other side. She banged and screamed, "Help me! Somebody open! Help me!" But the building was silent, as if all the noise of Shanghai had vanished. She turned. The doll was walking toward the kitchen. My Lynn snatched the nearest thing she could, a kitchen knife. Her eyes full of fear, but deep inside burned a spark of rage. "I won't let you. I won't let you destroy everything in my life." She stepped into the kitchen cautiously. The lights flickered. The dripping faucet ticked like a death clock. The doll stood before the sink, washing its hands. Hands still smeared with Bao's blood. My Lynn gasped, then raised the knife. She lunged with all her strength, but before the blade could strike, her body was yanked backward, as though a massive force had seized her from the air. Her arms locked stiff, and the laughter filled the kitchen. "You can't defeat me. I'm older than you, my Lynn, older than fear itself." My Lynn screamed, "Let me go!" Then she saw the mirror above the sink. Not her face, no, a red figure, rotting flesh, long teeth, claws larger than human hands. The same creature she had seen in her dreams. Then her reflection returned, but now her skin was blotched with tiny red welts like venomous stings. My Lynn pressed her trembling hand to her cheek, breaking down. I'm changing?" The doll lifted its head, staring at her. Its smile had changed, no longer childlike, but the grin of a demon. And in a flash, every light in the kitchen went out. Total darkness. The last sound my Lynn heard was her own scream. That morning, when My Lynn's body was found, the police couldn't explain anything. No signs of forced entry, no strange fingerprints, all the windows locked tight. But there was one thing they couldn't ignore. The doll, LABUBU, sitting right beside the corpse, smiling, as if it were admiring the scene, proud. The news spread fast. Local newspapers wrote, toy shop worker dies under mysterious circumstances. But the internet told a different story. In shadowy forums and closed groups, people began sharing their experiences. One man wrote that he bought the same edition of LABUBU in Tokyo, and a week later, his wife slipped into a coma for no reason. A woman from Germany said her little daughter clutched the doll every night, and after that, the girl never spoke another word. Someone in Brazil posted a video showing LABUBU sitting on a shelf, moving its eyes on its own. And the common thread? They all said the same thing. The doll starts with a smile, an innocent grin that slowly twists into the smile of a demon. In Shanghai, Mylan's younger sister broke down when she heard the news. She kept asking the police, "Where's the doll? What did you do with it?" But no one could answer. The official report said it had disappeared, as if it never existed at all. People started whispering that LABUBU wasn't just a toy, that it was the embodiment of an ancient spirit, a demon from forgotten civilizations, a creature that feeds on the human soul, beginning with harmless laughter, ending with your life stolen completely. In some countries, authorities issued official bans on selling or importing the doll. In certain temples, priests performed exorcism rituals specifically designed to banish it. But the strange thing? Every time a LABUBU was burned, another one would appear elsewhere, in another country, with another victim. Today, years later, the internet still talks about LABUBU. Some swear they've seen it sold in secret auctions on the dark web. Others claim they heard childish laughter in their rooms, even though they live completely alone. So, what do you think, friends? Is LABUBU just a cursed toy, born of coincidence? Or is it truly a vessel of a demon, gathering souls one by one? Maybe this story is a warning that not everything with an innocent smile is safe. If this tale sent a chill down your spine, hit the like button so we know you enjoy this kind of story. And tell us in the comments, what's the scariest curse or horror legend you've ever heard? Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next mysterious tale.